I can work this thing. Can you hear me? No. 2016 is a wonderful, great year for this church. We are celebrating our 200th anniversary as a house of worship in Mendon. And this is our kickoff Sunday, and we're going to be celebrating, recognizing that there were 10,000 Sundays between the beginning and today. Over 10,000, actually, and 10,000 sermons, which is an awful lot of hard work, right, Pastor Janet? So if you can, try to imagine with me what our country was like back in 2016. President Benoit was only the 5th president of this country, and we're already up into the 40s. The city of Washington, D.C. had been burned during the War of 1812, and it was just beginning to be rebuilt. So there was a lot of destruction at that time. Back here, the town of Mendon had just been incorporated in 1813, so our church has been fortunate to grow along with the town around the same time. And Mendon actually was becoming the hub of a supply hub for the city of Rochester, which was only 10,000 people at that time. Monroe County wasn't even incorporated yet. It had 5 years yet to go before it would be incorporated. But on January 5th, 1816, a meeting was held at a home 2 miles north of here, the small stone house that sits on 64 out here. And people met there for the purpose of organizing what they then called the Congregational Society, which has now become, through a series of transitions, our Mendon Church. And 2 of the organizing founders of our church have come back here to help us commemorate this important anniversary. So would you please join me in welcoming Ezra Sheldon and Thomas Ewer.
My name is Ezra Sheldon. I own the Cobblestone House on Mendon-Ionia Road, just south of 251. On January 5th, 1816, we held a meeting with some of our citizens in Mendon to form a church. We called ourselves the Mendon First Congregational Society. My friend Thomas and I were elected presiding officers and trustees, and we, in addition, elected 4 other trustees and a clerk at that meeting.
Good morning. My name is Thomas Ewer. I lived on the corner of Cheese Factory and West Bloomfield Road, where just 3 years prior to the formation of this congregational society, people met at my house for the formation of the town of Mendon. Now, among the founding members of the Congregational Society were veterans of the veterans of the Revolutionary War and the more recent War of 1812. We also had an Ontario County judge and several farmers. For the last 8 years, we were worshiping at my friend Ezra's house and other places around the town of Mendon, till finally in 1824, we held a vote to construct what is now the white clapboard building just west of the 4 corners in the hamlet of Mendon. The results of that vote were 14 in favor and 5 against. By November of that same year, we had a contract with a local builder to start construction. The amount of the contract was a large sum, $1,320. By July of the next year, we had, with great ceremony and much singing, we placed the cornerstone of that building.
In 1823, our little church was accepted into the Rochester Presbytery, and we have been Presbyterians ever since. Mary has asked us to read a proclamation commemorating 200 years celebrating serving the Lord in the Mendon community. Whereas the Mendon Church is celebrating its 200th anniversary during 2016, and whereas on January 5th, 1816, a meeting was held at the house of Ezra Sheldon, 21 Mendon, Ionia Road, in the town of Mendon, for the purpose of forming a congregational society. And whereas on July 2nd, 1823, the congregation was received under the care of the Presbytery of Rochester, and whereas this congregation has constructed and worshiped in several churches in and around Mendon, New York, including from 1825 to 1899, the White Clapboard Church in the town, 1900 to 2006, the Brick Church, and 2006 to the present Cheese Factory Road Church.
And furthermore, whereas this congregation has employed 41 pastors in its long and illustrious history, and over 120 elders have been ordained and faithfully served our church. And whereas on January 9th, 2016, it will install its 42nd pastor, the Reverend Dr. Janet Ann Hufford. And now, therefore, we the undersigned, members and friends of Mendon Church, do pledge to celebrate and commemorate the long tradition and history of Mendon Church throughout this year. And we pledge to dedicate ourselves to discerning and following the will of the Lord for this church as we begin the next 200 years.
Tom and Ezra, do stay right in character. You're just perfect. So, and keeping with your request, we're going to have that proclamation out in the Welcome Center after the service today. So we'd like everyone in attendance today to sign it. And we will eventually, when we have all our signatures from people who were able even to be here, we will put it away for posterity. So that's a very important document for us today. And also in the Welcome Center after the service, we'd like to welcome any visitors today. We have a ceremonial cake and a few things that are not carbs. So join us for coffee hour. And right now, I would like everyone to join me in welcoming Pastor Janet to our Mendon Church today.